I don't even remember the name anymore.
Oh, okay. Irish GT.
Irish, yeah.
The largest Age of Sigmar competitive event ever to be held in the Emerald Islands.
Yes.
Isle?
Emerald Isle. Yeah, that's it.
The Emerald
yeah.
Isle. The largest one ever.
I'm way too tired for confirmation.
So thank you for joining us. We are into turn 2 for the Disciples of Tzeentch. They won the priority roll for turn 2, and they gave it away to Skaven, Paul Skaven. And then Chris is now prepping for his devastating attack.
He is baiting the bleeding head off his Storm Fiends. That's some Irish for you.
Oh, we've seen the Purple Sun go through the Storm Fiends.
I want to know how many Storm Fiends died.
Well, there are 5 less Storm Fiends.
But how many died to Purple Sun?
Well, where is our table boss?
He may have gone to the bathroom.
Ah, okay. Well, so...
when he returns, we'll ask.
This feels like being on Warhammer Live. No information, that's got to make it up. Do you guys want me to say 50-50 a few more times? I can say that. Right. We will find out what's happened in maybe one of the most pivotal moments in the game.
Yeah. That's actually, I think that's quite a smart move from Chris, is putting the Purple Sun through first. Because if he got lucky with the Purple Sun and got a few 6s there, then that does make going after the Storm Fiends a lot more manageable. And I think when you're rolling for the Storm Fiends, you have to roll for the particular models.
You do. So you roll 9 dice. You roll only 6s. You're just taking them away.
Do you roll 3 for the Grinder Fists, 3 for the Wind Launchers, and 3 for the Gatling Cannons?
No, you just roll a dice per model.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, a dice per model.
So,
and we're now catching up. Our table boss is about to be shocked by the volume of things.
He actually looks shocked. So I think Purple Sun may have killed 2 or 3 Storm Fiends.
Yeah.
But that was a smart play by Chris to put the Purple Sun through first. Because if it did nothing, then I think he's smart to leave them alone. But the fact that it did something, if he kills them this turn, big.
Big, yeah. And then Purple Sun killed how many is what we're going to find out. And again, because you roll 6s, and it's 2d6 mortal wounds.
Now, because they all have 6 or more. So
6 or more wounds.
So he must have got 2 6s at least.
At least, yeah,
at least
maybe 3. And we did also find out that he cast Infernal Gateway as well. Now, casting Infernal Gateway means that he's within 18 inches,
yeah.
Which we said don't do.
Yeah.
And then that's added a bunch more mortal wounds. So 16 mortal wounds plus on average 7 there has ended up.
Now,
by the way, if he'd have been over here, Purple Sun wouldn't have been able to be cast.
Exactly.
Gateway wouldn't have been able to cast. You're probably saving 20 mortal wounds just from being somewhere else on the board.
What we're saying here is he's kind of feeding him targets.
Yeah. Feeding him
targets.
Yeah, he's feeding him targets.
So if
this is like the English field commanders in the First World War. They just throw in human bodies at a gun line.
Exactly.
And hoping it works.
The Last Samurai. Now, if this is a Skaven character here, okay? What's going on there? So I'll do that again. So this is a Skaven character here. Having a bit of a technical issue with my rubber nipple.
With a whiffer.
So, Skaven character there, okay? Now, if is that his general? What is that exactly? Where do we have? We know the was the Warplock bomb. Which killed itself with the Doom
Warlock
rocket?
Bombardier killed himself.
Okay, so he still has his
got
general.
his Doom rocket.
So
but he spelled his own Doom.
So this must be his general here.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's his general here, Storm Fiends are relatively safe, well, the rest of them, because Paul has a command point and he can still save them from battle shock.
Okay, so we've also seen Tzeentch's Firestorm off on a 14,
and there's
looking for 6s. Again into the Storm Fiends. He's going to nuke these Storm Fiends.
3 mortal wounds on the Storm Fiends
in a turn.
Yeah. So he's doing his best anyway, and he's really taking chunks out of them.
He's down to 3 left. He's gone from 9 to 3 in a go.
Which is big.
Eddie Mac, this is the HeroPhase Irish GT. Thanks very much for being here.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a shout out to Eddie?
Oh, Eddie. I'm so slow. Shackles are going down there. Yeah, good to have you here, 80. Glad you like listening to my voice. One of the few.
So yes, Shackles, Solstair Shackles going down. Just look at this cluster of endless spells. Talk about magical supremacy. Shackles going around. So Purple Sun blocking in the Screaming Bell. Shackles going down here. Pendulum and the mirror. The spell portal being used.
Do you know, the spell portal is good at doing that. And do you know what's great about the spell portal as well? If you have like endless spells across the board near the other side of it, and let's say you lose priority, then you can fire them through here to block stuff. You know, it's.
So we got some more spell casting now. Unchecked mutations onto the unit of unchecked mutations over here, and only one rat died. The spell portal always made me sad actually, because often when I'm painting my models, I'll after I've finished a particularly sweet paint job, I'll put it in front of my spell portal and go, mirror, mirror of the realms. Who has the fairest model of them all? And then they never say my model. Never ever. Normally they just go to like Oscar Lyles or Benjamin Savage.
Oscar Lyles, definitely.
Yeah. Really sad.
I remember I got a Stormcast paint scheme from a Warhammer Community article, and then he did it after I did it, and just blew mine out of the water. I was like, yep.
I think we can get an update on blue points that currently are available for Chris, because Chris is going to have loads.
I think he has all of them.
All of them. How many do you need, oftenly?
You usually. How many models do you need?
Yeah. I mean, how many blue points do you like to get up to? Because he's currently got 20 blues.
It depends from. Look at our beautiful 9-inch gauges there. It really depends on the state of the game. I usually like to have them for. I usually like to have like about 40 of them drop down in the one place to be able to like shoot something off the board, because people forget about their shooting. But like if I need like 10 here for an objective and 10 over there for a screen, you know, it really depends on the situation on the board. You know, that's the thing about Tzeentch as well. Like there's so many different scenarios.
It's an army you really have to play. I have really enjoyed that element of it.
Yeah.
But as a long-standing Hallow Heart Originals player, and now that we've finally got an army that we can play, as you know, I've been talking about that with you for years.
Yeah,
Like I just so
you've been
happy.
the most patient man.
It's so. So we're in the movement phase. We've seen a unit. We've seen enough models move in here to go and grab this objective. Par, thank you for subscribing. Thank you everyone, by the way, for joining us live. I hope you're all really well. Means the world to me that you're here, and also it means the world to me that you Irish fellas invited me over. It's been a real pleasure, so thank you.
It's been great so far. Even our little technical issues at the start.
Yeah.
But that's our fault for giving you a potato to plug into.
I got no. As an English person, I don't think I'm allowed to make jokes after that. I think I have to just stop.
Yeah, only we're allowed to say potato.
It's a cultural thing. No, please tell us. So, in the movement phase, what's happening? There's a wooden spoon for the tournament?
So we couldn't actually find a wooden spoon. So what we did is we got a metal potato masher and just carved that wooden spoon into it.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I'll make sure there's a picture of it up on the stream or on Twitter later on at the HeroPhase. Podcast? I actually don't know. I don't know what our Twitter handle is.
I'll put one up.
Yes.
On the Honest Wargamer.
Yeah. Okay.
So Chris is just putting some models out now to just test where he might put units on the board.
Tactical planning at its finest.
It's really hard, right? It's super good to pulls there should be no opponent that is unwilling to let you.
Absolutely.
But just putting your models out and measuring out. Some people do it with dice. He's just going to do it with his units. So he's just seeing whether or not he can thread the eye of a needle there.
Yeah, I know what he's trying to. He's trying to get that line through. And if he has an inch gap, if he has a 19-inch gap between those Storm Fiends and those Clan Rats, then he'll be able to do it. I've often been in the same position where I'm seeing where I can fit blues and brims in very, very tight spots.
Yeah, and Paul is actually adopting we just missed it. But Paul adopting the traditional pose of anyone having to watch a Tzeentch player play, drinking beer.
Yeah, drinking beer and Googling the answers. I think you heard me.
Hey Scrivo, how you doing, you gorgeous fella? LLV, just how great are Skaven as a faction? They're so great, arguably greater than all the rest.
Well, I have to agree with Scrivo that Skaven are super lame.
It's really good. I'm really glad I got show hosts that will back me up. You can't say it, but I will. However, Skaven being proved wrong right now, as they are taking a drubbing.
Yeah, you could call it that.
Come on, they've lost. So they had 2 big hammer units.
Oh no,
I
mean you said it lightly.
Huh?
I mean you said it lightly. Once again, I cannot say the thing I want to say.
So yeah, we've lost 40 plague monks and 6 storm fiends. We've also lost 6 storm fiends from that unit, so most of the hammer unit gone out of that particular army.
If the last 3, if those 3 go, there's nothing else you can really do.
No, there's not. He's going to be in a real tough spot in that situation.
It's so prickly. Being harassed at this table.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what Paul can really do without any threats on the board.
Well, so what School is, he's much bigger than Little Chris.
Yeah, I suppose standing on someone's head is still a tactical.
Rintra, so I think is that you, Plastic Crack, in the chat. I taught the kid everything he knows, is what we're saying. LLV player cams, you beauty. Thanks, LLV. Thanks, buddy. If you want to see what a wizard looks like, there he is. Little Chris just furiously thinking with all of his might, which is why Chris actually told me earlier that Sunlight actually negates his ability to think harder, so he doesn't like to go out at all if he can help it in some situations.
Teetotal. He's had a hard life. He had a hard life in his early teens. So now that he's hit 16, he's gone teetotal.
He's gone teetotal in his early teens.
Yeah.
He's decided not to fall to the machinations and the temptations of the rest of the people here.
Whereas Paul is fully embracing that.
Yeah, full show. Yeah, exactly. So the round has currently been going for an hour and about 40 minutes.
Okay, so that's another Storm Fiend gone from the Lord of Change's Rod of Sorcery.
Yes, the Rod of Sorcery going into the Storm Fiend.
Like, that's actually quite embarrassing because the Rod of Sorcery is hot garbage.
Pardon me?
The Rod of Sorcery.
It's hot garbage.
It's hot garbage.
It is hot garbage.
Like, I actually personally take the Balefire Sword. Just
Instead.
because because like you can cast Arcane Transformation on him. It's -2 rend. Go in with some Destiny dice and you've got 9 wounds on the board. Now, in saying that, he just killed a Storm Fiend with it. So
he has just killed the Storm. He has just just killed a Storm Fiend.
I think we need security.
We've got some very excitable audience members cheering us on.
Yeah.
And to be fair, though, this is still better than working for Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Love you loads.
Right. Now that we've dealt with that
Where
issue.
Were we? Where were we?
Okay, so we've got 2 Storm Fiends left, which is the important part.
I'm going to need tape round the commentating booth at some point. A barrier.
We need an elevated stage. So here's the thing now. It's when it eventually gets down to priority, I think Chris can afford now to take it. Because he can just take out the last 2 Storm Fiends and that's it. Because if he's got if Paul has got no punch left on the board, Chris can run away with it. Okay.
So we are seeing that the Brims are charging the Storm Fiends, locking them in combat. This is horrific, Matt. This is just absolutely game over for the Skaven, which makes me very sad as they're my favourite for 22 more days.
Yeah. This is a real like stop. They're already dead moment now.
Yeah, stop doing it.
They're already dead.
Yeah, they're in a really tough spot right now. And they're not going to make it. So it does look like it's going to be a win for Chris. Do you think Chris potentially can win the tournament? Not forgetting that there's another game today. Please tune in. And then 2 more games tomorrow where we get to find out who's going to be declared the winner of the largest Age of Sigmar event ever to be held in Ireland.
He's definitely a favourite.
He's a hot favourite. Who are the hot favourites at the event?
There's a couple of people that haven't that like are only fresh to the scene, but they're old. Like they're gamers that have been around for a while. One would be a guy called Ken Chambers here. He's been around for years. He's as old as Colin Cochrane, if not older. Also as bald as him. Then we have, who else do we have down here? We have the last winner of our Irish GT warm-up, Andy Farrell.
Yep.
With Legion of Grief, but Legion of Grief, it's a bit tough.
Legion of Grief are tough.
So he'd be struggling with that. And Kevin Grimes with Slanesh. So we have a few players that could do that could really take it out.
Chris Fitzsimmons, thanks for joining Patreon for $3. That's great.
Nice.
And thank you to everyone on Patreon. If you all donated $3, I'd be able to get myself a coffee, which would be sweet, but I won't because it's bad for me.
Yeah.
I get myself a decaf water.
Yeah, decaf, a diet water. So I would be putting money on Chris podium at least. Podiuming? Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah,
it is now.
So we're into the as we said, the charge phase and then the combat phase. So we're currently in the combat phase for the Tzeentch force here. It's still their turn, so we're still in turn 2. So it's not been the quickest, but we have seen all of the threats that the Skaven have put on the board deleted in a devastating round where we've lost 7 of the 9 Storm Fiends in one go.
Yeah, that's pretty big in fairness.
That's pretty horrific. The output just being phenomenal. Most of those, by the way, 16 of those mortal wounds come from that Purple Sun. We also saw a Pendulum, which was another D6. So just loads and loads, just loads of output. And Paul's going to be kicking himself.
Yeah, I think, and as I said, I think what made Chris go for the Storm Fiends was that successful Purple Sun plowing through. Like, really emphasize that plowing movement through those Storm Fiends.
They also, a lot of people saying that if Skaven get the turn now, that they'll be in an advantageous position. But they really don't have much left. They've got a unit of Clan Rats over here. They have another unit of Clan Rats here. That's all they have to score with.
Oh, no. And more Clan Rats here.
Oh, sorry. Yes, they do have a tiny line. And they also have their Screaming Bell.
Yeah.
But that's it. They've got 4 units on the board. 5 if you include the Storm Fiends. And there's a little Warlock. Sorry.
Yeah,
6 if you include the character. And 7 if you include any other units I've missed. 8 if you look at you. Is there one more unit?
Let me consult his list. So we know the Storm Fiends are dead. Or there. We know the Plague Months are dead. He's got the 3 units of Clan Rats. Grace here on Bell. He killed his own Warlock Bombardier. And Bombardier.
I hope I don't accidentally start trying to mimic an Irish accent by the end of the weekend, because I'm terrible at it, as we all know. Yeah, nowhere near as good as my bloody Welsh. It's perfect, that.
Yeah, so I think you got them all there. But the one thing is, the characters, what I found, against Tzeentch, they're not a big threat. Because they are support characters, and as long as they have nothing to support, they don't really have much to do. So Paul losing his Storm Fiends now means that I don't think he's got anything left to threaten Chris with, and Chris will have free roam of the board. If he kills the clan rats that are there, the Plague Furnace can't move. Sorry, the Screaming Bell can't move. Is that right?
Yep.
So that's stuck there doing nothing.
Well, it depends who you ask, but the rules, they can't move.
Yes, so exactly. As long as there's no clan rats within range of it, when it goes to move, you can't move. So I don't really know what his plan. And there's another one dead.
Another Storm Fiend lost to a blue horror.
And Paul has smiles in fairness, so he's obviously laughing at the irony of dying to a little wisp of fart in front of him. So
talking about Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just bopped the microphone there. Scared the crap out of me.
That's right, Reflex Dog Training. I would say Skaven can normally win any game with even just clan rats, but I think even this, for our mighty furred friends, it's probably against them.
I think our only real game plan is seeing Paul charge across the board into Chris Cave's torso. And I think that's his best game plan.
Just take him straight out.
Just straight out.
Chris currently showing what you do if that happened. Yeah. Give him the old 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
However, Chris actually, in our interim break, told us that he's been inspired. He's been inspired by Paul's gorgeous physique, and he's going to start hitting the gym. To improve his dice rolling technique while he wins all of the tournaments around the world.
So he can throw dice through people.
Yeah. It's a surprise little Chris hasn't developed himself like a small Pokemon-style cadre of other Warhammer players, and they kind of travel around the aisles in a kind of small adventure-style plot line, defeating different gym leaders.
Yeah, like it's Collins kid, Ben Cochran. We got Chris.
That's another one.
We got Chris Caves Jr. and we have Solomon Morrow. We got there we have a little roaming gang.
But before that, we got the priority roll.
Oh, here we are.
And we have got the red.
Red is Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Paul is rocking blue. And here it's going to happen.
Oh, okay.
Paul has got it. He's over the moon.
Right.
He is super happy with that.
I'd be happy if something went right for me.
Look at that. He's just excited, tense, thrilled.
So Paul's taking the turn, which is giving Chris the opportunity to move his purple sun, and he's going to bop off the Screaming Bell.
And I think he's going to try and hit. He's going to try and hit that unit there.
And hit the Screaming Bell and your man.
There we go.
Oh, he hit something.
I think he rolled a 6
mortals for 5 mortals on the little rat. Oh, he's dead.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay. So that's really.
So the character took the 6.
Yeah.
So there was a Warlock Engineer here, and he rolled.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. And it's the first time he's ever done wounds to a character, so he's over the moon about that. So that's a tough time.
That's a skull and crossbones for anybody.
Like, that art degree not gone to waste.
Nope.
No. Because it's gone to someone else.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that was that was big, because that was his general as well. To be honest, not that really matter, but it stops him from getting that 12-inch immune to battle shock. Don't think it's really gonna play much of a.
No, I agree. Oh, so they're currently rolling the objectives to see where the
Star Strike missiles
Star
come
Strike
down.
is going to go, because it's the beginning of the battle round. Because we are playing Star Strike, so it's landed there. Incredibly,
Okay.
that's a big bonus for Chris. He's going to be happy with that.
And then.
And it's going to be. Don't forget, this objective in the center here is actually owned by red. So blue actually doesn't have anything on the board here. to make anything of. So Red's also going to, I imagine, hold onto that as well. So it's going to be a tough time for.
It's an uphill battle for Paul now, and
so we're going to see the endless spell, the jaws, Ravenak's gnashing jaws. You already see whole armies with swaths of endless spells when the Hallowheart Free City armies come out.
Hallowheart versus Change Host.
Yeah,
20 endless spells on the board.
The Pink Horrors have just taken one mortal wound there from the gnashing jaws. The gnashing jaws, can we talk about this? Should do so much more damage. They're giant.
They are. And you know what? They're also cast on an 8, which means there's a lot of magical energy required. And then it's like, you've dug deep, you've benched, your body weight plus 50%, and all you get is D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
You've hardly got. It's hardly enough.
No.
It's hardly enough. So the Screaming Bell here in the center has just rung its bell, and its sonorous, good word, tone has rung across the mortal realms. It's rolled an 8, and that means that he has rolled. He's going to roll a dice for each unit in 23 inches. On a 6, it's going to cause a mortal wound. Not bad.
At least it's something.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. So he's getting all the characters anyway, and he's pretty much getting Chris's entire army except for that little unit out the side there.
Yeah, everyone in the chat having a conversation about how they feel about endless spells. Maybe it should be limited to 0 to 4.
Maybe they should keep their opinions to themselves.
Huh?
Maybe they should keep their opinions to themselves.
As a Change Host player, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, they look awesome, but I can absolutely understand why people are against them. Oh, the scribes have just taken a mortal wound there. So, Crescent Fang, thank you very much for subscribing for the first time. Thank you to anyone, by the way, who subscribes to the show and helps to support us, allows us to come to other countries, help support different events. You guys are amazing, so thanks.
We are pretty amazing.
Look at that. So the Gaunt Summon has taken a mortal wound, and the Lord Change has taken a mortal wound from the bell. Oh, they all took a mortal wound each. So if Paul's just able to keep his Screaming Bell alive for another 18 turns and keeps ringing that bell, he is going to be crushing it at that point. However, you can look at those endless spells. Look at that sweet section of endless spells there.
That is a lot of spells in the middle.
It's a lot of spells. Chris, in no way a believer that you need painting to hold you back from playing Warhammer, which I think is great.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I hope that's true for me also.
Yeah. as for me.
So Paul has tried to cast Crack's Call here, and it's been dispelled by the Lord of Change. Yeah. So look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there are some things that are true in life. Yeah, love is great and it hurts. Yeah, rain is great because it hides the tears. And also
hides it when you piss your pants too.
And also, this game is over.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 45 minutes left of no one's going to win there.
Yeah, and you know what I think? At least the players have something. At least both players still have a reason to play on to their best, thanks to secondaries. So, the secondaries make a big difference in these events, and it makes Chris isn't now just going to go, oh, I don't have to play anymore. He has to make sure that he gets both his secondaries and denies both Paul's secondaries, and Paul has to, again, try the opposite of that. So that's at least both players still have something to get out of this game. If they're not going to, if not just, oh, I've lost, I've won, you know what I mean? So it's nice that they still have to play on, and there's still something to fight for. Because if, like, Chris can win all 5 games, but if he doesn't get enough secondaries, he may not win. So, yeah, they have to make sure. They have to make sure they close up the secondaries. All right, here we go.
That sounds really interesting. And
All right, so.
So we are just listening to what the secondaries are right now. But 2 secondaries already achieved by both players.
Yeah, so they have a secondary each, as far as I heard there. Do they? And Paul has the killer unit with Battle Shock secondary. So has Chris. I think Chris has both of his secondaries already. Yeah, so Chris has both of his secondaries already, so it's now playing to deny Paul his Battle Shock secondaries.
Right, so yeah. So
His Battle
just
Shock
to try and get
secondary.
his maximum points in
Yeah.
here. So they're still playing for that.
So they're playing for either the 28-2 or the 26-4.
Big deals. So not the
So-
20-0 system.
So yeah, so we have 22 points for a major win and then 8 points for secondary. So it's a 30-0 system. And
I like that, more granularity.
yeah, exactly. So it's we had one LePond already asked, so if I win by 1 point, that's 22 points to me. Wow, that's a big swing. But that's why we added the secondaries. So it's, and I've added them ever since I started Age of Sigmar tournaments. And as I said to you earlier, that was from playing with MoComp before. So it's a great idea. I think it's.
I think secondaries. I think secondaries change the shape of the game in a really positive way, and I like more and more of them realistically. However, I would not like them to get to ITC 40k. It's a very different style of game, which I don't thoroughly enjoy. I still like the onus being on actually securing the objectives, but having other objectives. The one that I thought was really interesting that came up the other day was if your general is killed, then you lose. Then that being a certain amount of points. Keep him alive, maybe 4 points. If he dies, it's 4 points. Because normally the general is so clutch. Especially because they normally get a command trait and an artifact. So they're normally the big baller units of an army. But having that being reduced down, so there's a risk reward mechanic to putting this like monster forward and killing stuff. Could be interesting choice, I thought.
Yeah, the one thing is now this game would be stopped now if it wasn't for secondaries.
Yes,
we would no longer be watching a game if it wasn't for secondaries, and I think that's the important thing about it. It's no longer do you know what, that's done. See you later. So that's one thing I like about adding in that extra granularity. You've got at least they play on, and even when all is lost, you can get something.
So next game is up at.
So we have this game is over in 40 minutes, and then it is a 15-minute break, so 55 minutes. The next game should be at what? So your clock says 10 to 11.
That's Canadian time.
I think the next round is at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. So 3 hours. 3 hour. 4:45. 4:45, Miss Andy Hughes. 4:45 for the start of the next round. It's 3 hour rounds here at the event as well.
3 hour rounds, yeah.
How come you made that decision?
Well, we originally went for 2:45 because I think 2.5 was not enough in some cases. And also, even if you do kind of finish, it's nice to have that extra bit of time from then to the next game. I don't like rushing games really. And then to be honest, when I saw the guys in the UK running, I think it was Eggs or Facehammer, they ran 3 hour turns. So like, do you know what? I've actually messed up the timetable and we've got extra time, so I'm just going to make them 3 hour rounds.
I personally think 3 hour rounds makes loads of sense.
Yeah.
Like you're already staying over on the Saturday. So like, what are you losing? You're not losing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then on the Sunday, it adds an hour onto your day, but like. I think you're going to feel a lot more refreshed because you haven't rushed as much.
Yeah, you're not rushing from table to table. That extra half an hour goes a long way, I think. I noticed from my games that I I finish up at like 25 fast, then I'm throwing my army onto a tray. It's all out of sorts. I'm throwing all my stuff into a bag. Then I'm getting to my next table. I'm like, oh, where's all my stuff? And then I'm emptying it onto the table. It's disorganized. It's just horrible. So if you are playing right down to the end of the 2.5 hour mark, you'll struggle to move. So I think the 3 hours is just a nice little buffer, you know?
Yeah, and the atmosphere here is really relaxed. It's a great atmosphere, actually. If you guys get the opportunity to come over here for the next one, then I encourage you to do so. I'd like to come back, whether or not it's coverage or play. Rincho, have I ever drank Bailey's from a shoe? No, I have not. And Mr. T, thank you for subscribing for the first time ever. And Mamdare, thanks for subscribing for 20 months. Bring on the best coverage ever. We're trying. We are trying.
20 months. That's almost as long as you've been a Hollowmorn player or Hollow Heart player.
Hollow Heart player.
Yeah, almost as long.
I actually was a Hollow Heart player from their original piece of narrative, which most people don't know was in the All Points book of the Realm Gate Wars saga.
Oh.
Yeah, most people don't know that because they're not as old school a Hollow Heart player as me.
Hollow Heart. What would a Hollow Heart player be called? Has to be something beginning with H.
Yeah. Well, Hearty.
Yeah, Hollow Heart.
They call us the Hearties. And also, interestingly, if anyone wants to disprove, if everyone wants to disprove what I've just said, you would have to A, find a copy of the Realm Gate War book. B, read it, which would be a terrible thing for you to have to do. So I feel safe that I've got away with that lie. Yeah.
So I don't think it doesn't look like Paul is getting his. So it doesn't look like Paul is getting his secondary. I just saw Chris roll a 1 for one of his battle shocks, and that was a rolled one. So that's even a bigger.
That's even worse.
Oh no, he rolled 1 for his number of pinks coming back.
So objectives here is the bottom one is definitely held by blue. So
he's only got 1.
Then I think at the top he may well have taken the objective back.
He only scored 3, and it's each objective is worth the number of points of the round. So it's round 3, so that was worth 3 points.
Okay. So he's only scored this one objective this turn.
Yeah.
Now in Chris's turn 3. I'm pretty certain we're going to see him take such a commanding lead points-wise. He's going to, before he even does anything, he's just going to score 6 points, and it's going to put him 8-5 going into the priority roll.
And then he shreds through. What is that? What's near?
Yes,
okay.
There's not much left. However, let's look at this one Storm Fiend. Battling it out against the ages.
Saying, why, Paul? Why did you do this to me?
Why did you hurt me so? There he is. Paul making use of those contrast paints.
Yes, fantastic paints. And you know what? I think it's made everybody here's life easier for this weekend. A lot of people painting right up until the to the early hours of this morning. And the contrast paints are a massive help.
Yeah, they are. Especially, as you said, it's quite a new community. Your Age of Sigmar community here in Ireland. So it must be nice to see people getting their armies up to tabletop standard. No matter, some people are a bit snobby about painting, but I think as long as it does the job, I think that's good enough.
That's me. That's me all over. I'm not snobby about painting at all. I'm happy as long as it looks like it belongs on the board. You know what I mean? It's you haven't taken the mick with it. You've made a conscious effort, and it's very hard to put that on paper. So we've kind of put a caveat in all of our messages, like fully painted based, and Dave has this kind of like criteria for that. And we also caveat it with, if you've taken the piss, we will call you on it.
So we've just seen the handshake there for the game. So both the players.
David has beaten Goliath.
He has beaten Goliath. There he is. There's he's walked off. Goliath is left.
Goliath is struggling. He's struggling with life.
He is.
All smiles though.
Loads of smiles.
Yeah.
What a great game.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Rob. There we go. This is Mick. Hi. A good game.
Yeah, it was. It's a pity that Paul kind of put himself in that position that early on.
It did. But interesting for you guys when you watch it back, there was an out. There was an early committal.
Yeah.
There was an early committal with the Storm Fiends. And then, and as much as I think Chris played a great game, Chris didn't see the out that was available. Neither did Paul.
Yeah.
But there was, and it would have made turns 4-5 very tense and interesting.
Yeah.
And if you go back and watch an amazing game between Vince Ventrella and Bill with his Flesh Eater Courts from Nashville, you saw a very similar game where it looked like Vince was so ahead turn 2. But then Bill with some really, he disengaged, he healed his Ghoul King and Terrorgeist back up, got back in the fight. Like, the game isn't over. Like sometimes skip a turn.
Yeah.
Like
just reposition.
Yeah, reposition.
It's so important.
And arguably, of all the scenarios where you can do that best, Star Strike.
Yeah, absolutely. But as I said, like if he had put his Storm Fiends on the center objective, he would have been completely out of range of all of Chris's magic on that turn that he lost all his Storm Fiends.
That's where he lost all of it.
Yeah, and he would have put it back a turn. Then he could have come. Chris would have had to come around, and that puts Paul on the counter attack. He gains 6 points on turn 3 rather than only 3 points, and it's still a game. You know, so he just I think he tried to put pressure. I know what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to put the pressure on so that Chris had less places to go, but he just fed Chris targets.
But then you're doing that with the threat your Storm Fiends have anyway.
Yeah.
Like and just putting all your stuff in the middle of the board so it just gets hit by all those endless spells. Anyway, it's a great masterclass in what not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which and that's not horrible. That's just like good lessons for everyone to learn. Take those Storm Fiends, put them somewhere else. They're super fragile. They have to be played well.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Interesting to see whether or not Chris is going to take out the tournament.
Yeah. It's going well from so far.
It is.
You know. I'm looking forward to seeing who's playing next. And see how well he does over the week. We might see him again on the stream, depending on how well he does.
Exactly.
So
So you guys in the chat, thanks for joining us. There's no roaming reporter this weekend because I've got the wonderful guys like Mick and Nathan helping me out to do the stream here. So we're running pretty skeleton.
There's a story behind that. Our P schedules synced.
You and Scrivo.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. But you guys have been great, so thank you very much. Obviously, that was a win to the Disciples Tzeentch as a long-standing lover of Skaven for 8 whole days. I was sad about that.
I was not.
No.
I'm not going to hide it.
But don't forget to join us again at 4:45 for the next game. If you're watching back on YouTube or anything, please leave us a comment and let us know what you thought. You guys have been wicked. Mick, thanks very much. Well done on you doing your first game of commentary. I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
happy with it?
I was happy with it. I was a little bit nervous going in, but just kind of
you did
had
great.
a little chat.
Yeah, you did great.
And then
you did
so
great. You guys did great too. Thanks. Don't forget to join us later. Get yourself some cup of tea. Get yourself some complex carbohydrates. Yeah, have a little walk around.
Yeah.
Stay healthy. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks very much.
Bye bye.